There is a rule about secrets of this kind, and the rule is simple. You don't tell them. You carry them. You use them, if you ever have to, and you take them with you into the grave. Nobody writes that rule down anywhere. It doesn't need writing down. I work with artificial intelligence a great deal. It runs through most of what I build now. And one afternoon, between two pieces of actual work, I did what people do when their attention drifts. I started asking it about things that had nothing to do with the task in front of me. Old knowledge. Secret knowledge. The kind of question you ask half in jest, expecting something vague in return. What came back was not what I expected. The ordinary search engines still handle this material the way they always have. Fragments. An encyclopedia paragraph. A scanned article behind a paywall. A forum post from 2009. Nothing that assembles into anything. What I got instead was detailed, structured, joined up, in a way I had not seen before. Not the whole picture, but considerably more of it than I had assumed was reachable by anyone who simply asked. I don't offer that afternoon as an excuse. It would be a weak one. The machine already knew some of it, so I may as well tell the rest. That is the kind of reasoning that lets a person do whatever they had already half decided to do. That isn't what happened, and I'd rather not pretend it was. What changed my mind was slower. And it has to do with what time does to knowledge like this. Time does one of two things to a secret. It either lets it fall out of the world entirely. The last person who knew it dies, and that is the end, with nobody ever aware that anything was lost. Or it exposes it. An exposure is almost never total. What survives is a partial thing, enough of the shape to be recognizable, not enough of the substance to be usable. Systems described in outline. Key material lost. A code list mentioned in a letter that no archive holds, which means the honest question was never, "May I tell this?" It was, "What happens if I don't?" And that answer is uncomfortable. It becomes a curiosity, a dusty thing. A story from a vanished century told at a family dinner by someone who no longer quite remembers how it worked. And yet, when I look at the state of the world right now, and I mean specifically the people left standing in airports at the beginning of March this year, while foreign ministries assured everyone that all possible steps were being taken, I don't find this knowledge dusty at all. I find it unusually relevant. Not for everybody, not as a solution to anything general, but for a small number of people, in a small number of situations. I think it matters more now than it has in decades. That is an uncomfortable thing to conclude, about something you were told never to speak of. I slept on it for a long time. Weeks, then months. The decision did not come easily. And I am not entirely certain, even now, that it was the right one. What I'm certain of is that it wasn't taken lightly, and it wasn't taken for the money. Almost everything I build on the web begins the same way, with a domain, not as an afterthought, as the first act. If an idea can't find the right name, it usually means the idea isn't finished. So I went through my portfolio of exact match domains, names I acquired because they were good, not because I had a use for them. And there it was. Alphabet.sx. I remembered exactly how I came by it. It had been a strange moment at the time. Significant, without my being able to say why. It sat unused for years. Then I looked at the extension. In the Latin of the old chancelleries, S is the letter that stands for Suishi, of Sweden, and X is the terminal abbreviation for Rex. Those two letters were never neutral characters in early modern diplomatic practice. In the cipher work of the Vasa kings, they carried a specific weight. Anyone who has looked at material of this kind knows the feeling of seeing a letter doing more work than a letter should. I'm not going to claim a Caribbean domain extension was assigned with a 17th century chancellery in mind. Obviously it wasn't. But I had been carrying a secret about coded alphabets for some 30 years, and the name sitting unused in my portfolio was the word alphabet, followed by the two letters that matter most in the tradition that secret comes from. At point, it stopped feeling like a decision I was making, and started feeling like one that had already been made. Things resolve themselves sometimes, or they explain themselves. I've stopped trying to tell the difference.